Hey, drop. Yeah, hey, drop.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Audible. I'm your man, God of Dots. Back. Hope everybody's had a nice day. I know I have. Is Memorial Day weekend. Brother got some time off, just chilling, relaxing. Might do a little road tripping, see some family and all that kind of good stuff. But like I said, hope everybody's had a good day. Um, Shouts out to those who have been liking, sharing, subscribing, watching, whatever you do with the content. Appreciate it. It's all love. How you doing, Miss Murph? Always in the building. It's always love. Okay, man. Where do we start? Game. Was it game 5? Game 5 tonight. Miami and Boston in Boston. If you're kind of late on the uptake, Boston won game 4 down in Miami. Jason Tatum came out to play, showed why he is all NBA. And the pressure, I believe, tonight is on Miami. Miami, you have a tall task ahead of you. Closing a team out on the road. It's one of the hardest things to do in the NBA, especially a team with so much pride in themselves as the Boston Celtics. And if you haven't heard, I want to say Caleb Martin, Miami Heat forward / guard or whatever position. They're really kind of positionless down there in Miami. Caleb Martin is if I'm not mistaken, the latest report was that he was ruled out, but I would have to double check. Matter of fact, let me double check now because I know I saw it earlier that he was ruled out of tonight's game up in Boston. And if Caleb Martin is out, that is a big loss for the Miami Heat, especially on the road. Caleb Martin has been one of their most efficient scorers, been one of the most consistent scorers. Yep. Vincent is out, so we'll see. We'll see how this kind of goes tonight. Typically I kind of give my prediction based on how the series is kind of going. Miami, I played Boston clearly the first 3 games. Boston showed me something in the last game. I had to go back and kind of look at the game tape. Jason Tatum, I'm going to need you to have that same aggressive mindset that you're not going to allow the game to come to you, because you allowed this game to come to you, get far behind. I think Miami kind of closes you out. My heart wants Miami, but my mind is telling me Boston at home. No way they lose 3 straight at home in a series. I can't fathom that happening. I think Miami has, like I said, has outplayed them this series, and it shows with the 3-1 lead. But I don't know. Tonight I got to go Boston, and if Boston wins tonight, man, pressure is on Miami big time. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 series deficit and come back to win. Miami could be the first team to allow that to happen. Boston, I want to. You know what? I'm not going to warn. I'm going to actually do it. Y'all know how I am with my picks. I kind of stand on my picks. My picks are my picks. It is what it is. I got Boston winning tonight, and I think Boston wins by double digits. Boston wins tonight. Series shift back down to Miami this Saturday for game 6. I don't know. I think Jimmy's got to come out with playoff Jimmy mindset tonight. He's got to go ballistic. He's got to get them at least 35 or more tonight. close the door. Do not allow Boston to win tonight. You allow Boston to win tonight. Like I said, the pressure is off of them. Yes, Miss Murphy, it is possible. It is possible. Boston outplayed them last game. Boston was way more efficient, way more aggressive in their approach. I like the way Tatum came out with a score first mindset. Don't allow the defense to get set. Because if you watch the game, Miami is a good defensive team, but Miami plays a lot of zone. Miami plays a lot of zone, and you would think, guys who have played in college, played in high school, that have seen zones, you would think that they would kind of figure it out. But it took Boston 3 games to kind of figure out what Miami was doing defensively, and came out with a different kind of mindset in game 4. Of course, that's the pressure of, your season might be over if you lose, but if Boston allows Miami to kind of hang into this game, it's going to be trouble for them. I think Boston has to come out with the mindset that we got to stomp these boys out early. Got to stomp them out early. Because if you allow this game to be close at the half, close in the third quarter, Miami has shown, hey, we can win on this floor. And then if I'm Boston, if it's a close game, we're doing what we can. We just can't put these boys away. That doubt starts to creep in because, hey, they've beaten us twice up here already in this series. So, but I got Boston kind of winning tonight. I think Boston wins by double digits. I don't think it'll be a blowout. Miami's too well coached, too good of a team to get blown out. But I think Boston wins by double digits. I say Boston by 12. Boston by 12. It'll be about 12 tonight. Now, if you're watching on your phone or watching on your laptop, whatever you're doing watching this, you see the ticker going on at the bottom of the screen. Better fit in LA. If you haven't been keeping up with the news, it's been reported that Kyrie has expressed interest in coming to LA. It has also been reported and kind of been leaked out there that the Lakers are exploring options to bring in Trae Young. I will say this as a Lakers fan. If I'm going to, you got to look at this from two prisms. If I'm looking at it from a win now mindset, if I'm bringing in one of these two guys, if I'm looking at it as a win now mindset, win now, I'm going Kyrie. I think Kyrie is clearly the better player when we're talking about between him and Trae Young. Kyrie is a guy that you don't have to create offense for. You don't have to run him off screens. You can just put the ball in Kyrie's hands and let him cook. I think Kyrie's a much better defensive player than Trae Young. I don't think he's a much more efficient and consistent shooter than Trae Young. But if I'm looking at, like I said, short term, Kyrie. We'll talk about the numbers in a second. But if I'm thinking short term, Kyrie or Trae Young, I got to go Kyrie. But if I'm the Lakers, and I'm not thinking about really getting the most out of LeBron's last couple of years in the league, if I'm thinking real long term, I mean, you traded first round draft picks and all that kind of stuff. If I'm thinking real long term, Trae Young to me is a better fit in LA than Kyrie. And the reason why I say, long term, one, he's younger. And I think you put Trae Young with the Anthony Davis, you're talking about a mean pick and roll game. You kind of see what Trae Young is doing down in Atlanta with the Clint Capella and John Collins, guys who are nowhere near as athletic, nowhere near as talented as Anthony Davis. And this kind of sets your team up for more future success when LeBron decides to hang it up. When LeBron decides to hang it up, you have 2 all-star caliber players still on the roster. I don't think you have to gut the team to get Trae Young. I think you can still be able to keep some of the pieces that you already have if you wanted to get a Trae Young. I think Atlanta is kind of sent flyers out and feelers out to see what teams are interested in getting in on the Trae Young sweepstakes. I think his time in Atlanta is near his end. Team has not gotten any better since he's been there. His numbers have been good. I mean, but the team is not going anywhere. They haven't. I don't want to blame it all on Trae Young, because Trae Young is not responsible for signing guys. Trae Young is not responsible for coaching. But Atlanta hasn't gotten any better since they had that Eastern Conference Finals run a couple years ago. They haven't gotten any better. Guys, games haven't progressed. So if I'm Atlanta, if I can get some pieces, I mean, and you'll still be able to be competitive in the Eastern Conference with the pieces that you have and possibly the pieces that you may be getting back. You might be looking at between the two, straight up trade with the Lakers or maybe a 3-team trade. So you're able to get some pieces. I like, Capella. He's a serviceable big man. I don't know what you do with John Collins. If I'm Atlanta, I'm getting off of John Collins because he's more of a enigma for me. Watching him play, is you would think with the physical gifts that he has, he would be a much more uh, better player than he is right now. But just John Collins kind of like blends in with the paint, man. Blends in with the paint, and for what you paying this dude, and he got paid off of that Eastern Conference Final run that they had. What you paying this dude, you ain't getting a solid return on. I'm sorry, Atlanta. I'm sorry. So I mean, if you're going to tear it down, you're going to move Trey Young, you're going to tear it down. I'll be trying to move John Collins, possibly get some young guys, some draft picks, and kind of start over. I mean, you're not going to be competitive. Even if you keep Trey Young or John Collins out in the East, you're not going to be competitive uh, over the next 5-year period. It's just not happening. Philly is going to see some changes, but as long as they got Embiid, they're going to be at the top of the East. Same thing with Milwaukee. Same thing with Boston. Miami, if they can kind of get some guys in there in the off season, I mean, they got the cap space to kind of do it. Miami's going to be there. Cleveland's not going anywhere. New York is not going anywhere. So if I'm Atlanta, I'm seriously exploring getting off of Trey Young primarily because he's going to give me the most return, but I'm also going to be trying to get off of John Collins also. So, like I said, better fit short-term Kyrie. Now, like I said earlier, we're going to talk about the numbers now. To bring in a Kyrie, you're going to have the same situation that the Lakers had a couple years ago when they brought in Russell Westbrook. Now, these are two different kind of players, but what I'm talking about is as far as the contract and the money. To bring in a Russell Westbrook, you got to get rid of some of your bench, some of that depth that you kind of developed after the All-Star break, after you traded Russell. To get a Kyrie, you're going to have to probably get off of Austin Reeves. You're probably going to have to get off of Rui Hachimura. Malik Beasley, you do have a team option on him. Probably going to have to let him go. You're probably talking about moving Mo Bamba, waiving him, getting some money there. Even if they move all those pieces, Kyrie's still going to have to take a little bit of a discount to come to LA. And then, of course, with Kyrie, you saw what the media attention kind of, did to him in New York when he was playing in Brooklyn. Can you imagine the media attention him in LA, bright lights, cameras flashing? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if LeBron is able at this point in his career with, how Kyrie has been since he's left LeBron's side. I don't know if LeBron can kind of bring him in, rein him in. But the problems with Kyrie is not a problem on the court. Kyrie is not a guy that's been disruptive to a team on the court. It's just that what he does off the court, as far as his statements, as far as his stances on stuff, has been very problematic to teams while they're on the court. Like I said, when he's on the court, Kyrie is money. Kyrie is money. Kyrie is one of the best scorers in the NBA, probably the sickest handles I've seen. In my life, and I've watched a lot of basketball, watched a lot of guards come through this league. Kyrie's got some of the best handles I've ever seen. Can get his shot mid, long range, can finish with either hand in the paint. I mean, we're talking about a supremely talented player, but when you talk about Kyrie, you have to bring in the off the court stuff. The earth is flat stuff. His positions on you never know what Kyrie is going to do to draw negative attention. And that kind of, and he can be kind of moody, kind of aloof. That kind of was part of his problem when he was with Boston, quote unquote, trying to be, I want my own franchise when he left LeBron. that was kind of the reports that was coming out of Boston that, hey, this guy is not leadership material. He's a great player, but he's not a leader. I think him going to LA for the short term will allow him to get back into that role of, hey, I'm not expected to lead the team. I'm a voice on the team, but I'm not the voice. The Lakers business begins and ends with the GM, LeBron James. Like I said, short term, if I'm just trying to just go for it, win it all, LeBron tells me, hey, I got one more year in me. Let's maximize it and kind of go from there. I'm going with Kyrie, but if I'm the Lakers and I'm trying to, you've been kind of keeping up with it, as hard as they fought to kind of keep first round draft picks, and they didn't want to move off first round draft picks. If I'm LA, if I'm going to move off of some picks, off of some players, or I still trying to maintain the depth, I'm looking at Trae Young. I'm looking at Trae Young now. What kind of package? I mean, you could possibly talk about a D'Angelo Russell sign and trade to Atlanta. I think D'Angelo Russell can kind of slide into the Trae Young role in Atlanta, and Atlanta just be what it is. I mean, even with not to say that D'Angelo Russell is a comparable player to Trae Young, but I mean Atlanta's not going nowhere. So let's keep it a buck. So I would, if I'm the Lakers, as a fan, oh man, as a fan, if I'm thinking about my team and I'm just thinking about the team, not thinking about maximizing LeBron, I'm looking at Trae Young. I'm looking at Trae Young, seeing what kind of package I can possibly put together to get him in LA. I think his game, like I said, will fit nicely, not just with LeBron, because you're talking about, LeBron can kind of facilitate. And Trae Young is a respectable 3-point shooter. Now, he can be streaky, but he is a respectable 3-point shooter. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm exploring the Trae Young avenue more so than Kyrie. Kyrie, if I bring him in, I'm losing so much of the versatility and depth that I brought in after the All-Star break, and we're back, to the same thing as when we had Russ. I mean, you bring in, Kyrie. Who are you? Who's your starting five? Who is your starting five? Like, you got to ask that question. I think Rob Pelinka is going to make the right decision. This offseason, I expect him to really, kind of tweak the team. Like I said, Hachimura's do for some money. Austin Reeves do for some money, and D'Angelo Russell. Like, I wouldn't sign. Let me tell you something, Rob. Do not sign D'Angelo to no long-term deal, dude. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're not going to get a return on your dollar. Don't do it. Don't do it. You want to use him for a sign and trade to bring in somebody, fine. But no, do not bring him back long-term. Please don't. Please. What else is kind of going on in the world of sports? But hold on. I did say we was going to talk about this yesterday. If you're not aware, like I said, it's official now. July 29th, probably the biggest boxing match, I would probably say, since Mayweather Pacquiao, probably the biggest fight that could be made and will be made. You know what? Yeah, probably, yeah. Wilder and Fury, yeah, those was good fights, entertaining. But when we're talking about Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, man, ooh, you talking about money. Two high class, high level boxers, and this is what boxing needed. Boxing for too long has seen guys, and I'm not going to say duck, because these boxing federations have had a stranglehold on these guys are next for the mandatory title fights. And it has hurt the sport. Those that can remember, boxing, especially like early 90s, 80s, 70s. If you're from that era, you can recall that boxing, hey, the best fought the best. But nowadays guys are waiting so long, and this fight should have happened by about 4 or 5 years ago. Glad that we're getting it now. I mean, these guys are a little bit older, but they're still at the top of their game, still in their primes, haven't taken too much of a beating in the ring. But boxing, hey, this got to be the formula. Tank and Garcia kind of showed you, hey, you put guys in there that first of all want to fight. Records be damned, and I don't understand this whole um guys, trying to hold on to that. Oh, you know what I'm talking about? Guys don't want to take a L. Hey, get in there and fight. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You can't win them all. I mean, you can't take. And I love Floyd. I think Floyd is one of the all time greats. But I seen Floyd, struggle when he's got in there with guys who are very comparable in skill. If those that know, his fight against Reed, could have went the other way. Could have went the other way. For those that haven't seen it, hey, go check out the highlights. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm very hyped up for this one. I might even do like a watch along, but that's kind of hard because you got to throw up banners and all that other stuff. So I don't know, but I definitely will be watching that fight live when it happens. I'm expecting. How much was Tank? I think Tank Garcia fight was like $90 on the pay-per-view. You could be talking about $100 easy to watch this fight on pay-per-view, but I'm looking forward to it. If I had to pick one, pick right now, I'll probably say Bud, but that's not to take anything away from Spence. I think Bud is a much more technical and sound boxer. Spence is much more physically gifted than Bud, but Bud has man, it's hard to get a read on Bud. It's hard to really punish Bud, hard to catch him in a troubling spot. But I don't want to talk you guys head off with the boxing stuff. If you ain't into it, you ain't into it. But I am. But like I said, I'm excited for it. Like I said, the whole boxing kind of gets back into this, man. Put the best against the best. UFC does it. MMA does it for the most part. Guys, we not ducking anybody. We want the smoke, and then the promotions put them in there, and that's why UFC, over the past 5 years, in my opinion, has surpassed boxing. And boxing, you're playing catch up. I mean, you have the infrastructure in place to kind of get back on top, but you got to get guys that are willing to get in there and fight. Too often is the guys are fighting over the purse, the money, location. I want to do this. It's so much red tape when you're talking about dealing with promoters and all of that kind of stuff. UFC doesn't really have that problem. Dana White just comes out, hey, next fight for John Jones is such and such, and that's it. Unless an injury happens, that's it. That's the next fight that's being booked. So boxing, let's get back to doing that. Hold on, how you doing, Keeper? How you doing, Spot? Spot, you're attacking me. I feel attacked. We'll talk about that at another time tomorrow. Working on something. Oh, these folks don't give me too much time. But anyway, I want to get off here. Hey, tip off tonight, TNT, 8:30, Boston, Miami. Can Boston stay alive? Can Boston survive? Or will the Heat do what I don't remember the last time a team has won 3 times on the road in the playoff series, 7-game series. So Miami, hey, you could be looking at history tonight. Denver is waiting. Denver is getting healthy. As much as I want the series to kind of keep going, I kind of ready. I'm super excited to see the NBA finals. Let's kind of get to it. But if this series goes 7 and it goes 7, I'll be here commenting, breaking it down every step of the way. Like I said, thank you everybody for coming out. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned to the channel. Me posting up. Probably do some shorts tonight. I don't know if I'm actually be doing breaking down and doing the highlights like I've been doing, but probably post up some shorts, kind of keep you, up to date on the game. I will start doing uploads in probably 2 weeks to kind of prepare for the transition that the channel will be taking in about a month or so. So, stay on the lookout for that, set your notifications and all that good stuff. I'm trying to keep it clean over here as much as possible. Keeping it corporate. Can't wait until football season start. Yes, Miss Murph. Yes, Miss Murph. I mean, I'm already kind of getting, news. Teams are getting penalized. They're losing OTA days because of, you can't do but so much practicing in the off season and so much time. The players can't spend so much time, doing OTAs. So a couple teams have been punished. I want to say my Cowboys are one of those teams that has recently got punished. So yeah, I can't wait for the season starting. Be diving into it head first once the NBA season is kind of wrapped up. Um, I'm not a hockey fan like that. I'm aware of what's going on, but I'm not a hockey fan. But yeah, let me kind of get up out of here because I want to, get settled in and watch the game tonight. Once again, thank you for coming out, support, watching the show. And for those that watch, I know you're also creators. I'm watching what you're doing. I'm liking what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Continue to do you at the end of the day. Do what you like. Numbers be damned. Other people's opinion be damned. Do what you like to do. Do it because you love to do it, and you'll be successful at it. You'll be successful at it. And I'm not talking about views. I'm not talking about subs. Once you find content that you enjoy doing, trust me, you'll find enjoyment in it. Trust me, I do. Each and every time I turn on this microphone and do this show, even when I'm doing my other shows, I do it because I like to do it. So for the creators out there, continue doing what you're doing. Like I said, I'm watching you, I support you. I got to get into really get into the community wall side of it, and like sharing stuff. But I like to keep this kind of low key for right now because I can't share it on other because you know how folks is. How folks is. So we're gonna keep this on the hush till this is time to do otherwise. But anyway, thank y'all for coming out. Hope you have a good day. Hope you have a good weekend. Memorial Day weekend. Get out there, enjoy your family, enjoy the time off if you got it. Be safe. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Still don't have an outro, but I'm out.